Uh, Hi Ashish, how are you? Hi Deepak, am I audible? Hello. Hi
Hello,
Deepak.
Siddhi. I hope you are able to hear me well and you are able to
Yes,
see me
yes.
also.
Right,
Okay,
right,
then.
Deepak.
So I hope
Great.
we are all set with everything.
Yes, and we're live on YouTube as well. So I, I request all of you to uh, please stay on mute and keep your cameras off. Meanwhile, Deepak, I'll just give a brief introduction and we can start with the session.
Sure.
So Uh, today we have a session on alternative MBA that is being offered by iMet Global, and we have Mr. Deepak with us, who is the Group CEO of Digitally Next and the founder of iMet Global. So, being an economics graduate from University of Delhi with an from Symbiosis, that is SCMHRD, Deepak has worked across the different geographies in India, US, Canada, and Europe for more than 22 years in different B2B spaces as an employee, entrepreneur, and now as an entrepreneur. So, Deepak, you have this wonderful journey, and now you're offering through your iMet Global platform an alternative MBA, which is a next gen MBA that you say. So, we're here for this session wherein you give us the details about this program, and we're all ears. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you're absolutely right. It is about, like the new gen MBA. For so many years, we were also contemplating that, when everything is getting smart, just like our smart TV, our smart city, our smart home, by when, our education will become smart education. So I think that is what where we were able to take our steps towards that. When I did my MBA in the 2001, how it was, and when I look at how it is today, I think the expectations and so are the industry requirements have actually transformed in a big way. But when we look into it, that how our qualifications are available, and here we are talking about formal qualification, not vocational, not certification, nothing like that, but somewhat like how in our society we go with school, graduation, and post graduation, and preferably we go for post graduation, which is more professional in nature, based on which we are able to get an awesome career. So that is what the trajectory looks like. So here we like if I start with myself, I had been through that journey of all the right qualifications, and then living that corporate dream and living that American dream as well, where I worked there for almost 4 or 5 years, and then coming back to India and then getting into different activities, especially when we were in touch with different institutions where we were helping them to build their employability status for the students. What qualifications that they were offering. I met, when it started in 2011, we were, a thorough inputs, to so many institutes, like put some numbers. It was roughly around 65 plus institutes that, we covered, where we trained approximately 27 or 28,000 students. So, when we did that, we felt that the time is right, that we really need to look at that how a new age MBA should look like. And it will not be like that how conventionally specializations work, how the academic structure were put around. And in terms of even the intellectual infrastructure of professors, CGPA system and everything, it needed a complete overhaul. That's what we manifested with New Education Policy 2020. So that really gave it that right impetus that the time is right to look into that what industries were expecting and how the alignment should be there in place now. And that gave birth to a formal qualification of global postgraduate program in digital social media and IoT from iMet Global side. The interesting aspect starts right from the name itself of iMet. For everyone's knowledge, iMet is an acronym: innovation, mentoring, entrepreneurship, and talent building. So in short, we call it iMet. and it's a Section 8 not-for-profit organization now, under which there are formal qualifications available. So one is for the students where it is more to do with the ones who are aspiring to do their MBA. The only thing is I will not call it MBA, I will call it alternative MBA. And that's what we guys are, we are offering now. So we call it in short alt MBA. Another interesting thing happened that when we were doing all our research with almost more than a decade experience in this area, that was a time when even Forbes came up with their research also. So not only new education policy was announced by the government, but also most of the advisory councils globally, they were also looking into that how the new education structure will look like, and especially post-COVID era. So they came up, with this analogy of all the private institutes, the Ivy League colleges who were rising and shining, with their past legacy and the past performance, they all now could go busted like Blockbuster. While alternative MBA will be the next new flicks in education. So that is how the analogy of Forbes was done. And coincidentally, that was a time when our article also came in publication in Times of India that what this alt MBA will is and how it will be ruling the world in coming days when we are talking about new age education. So for everyone's knowledge, this is a background on which, like, when we guys got in touch with and we decided on that how this orientation can be made in a way that one could see that alt MBA is something like an MBA, but then it has an edge, which we were actually, longing for good number of years. And when I'm saying we, I'm somewhere representing the corporate sector as well. So that is where the iMet itself is something like off for by the corporates. That is one of the exclusive side of it. The second is the campus structure is also like an office building. So it is not like kind of a typical Ivy League campus with long, big lawns and landscape structure around and having all the reception area and then big classrooms. It is more structured in a workstation format. So to take you all, in step by step manner, like what is this all about, how it looks like, and keeping everything in next 20 minutes, I will try my best that we all should have the right orientation. And if there are any questions, I think this has already been written by Siddhi. That what you could please raise your hand, or you can just use the chat box and share your question with me. So I will try my best to answer all the questions as well. So when we have to take this journey forward, here in this orientation, I will be primarily talking about that what this alt MBA is, why students should go for it, and when we are saying it is a different thing to make everyone understand in Indian context, take it like this, that how all this while when we were viewing different channels, we had this DTH structure in place. But then now when we are viewing different programs, we have OTT in place. So it's exactly like that. So the MBA is like DTH, while alt MBA is like OTT. So that is how I can make it very simple for everyone to understand. Couple of highlighters where you can actually do a comparative analysis also. That when we are talking about MBA, we all know it's a 2 years full-time program. When we are talking about the conventional way of how it is being done, it comes with different names. So MBA is when it is coming directly from university, but when it is not coming from university, then there is like PGDBM, then PGPM, then PGDM are the other names. So all these programs have few things in common. Number one, most of these institutes are governed by as UGC recognized or they are AICTE approved. So they follow the guidelines of these two bodies that were existing till 2020. Under this structure, they would put professors who are PhDs or the ones who have done their post graduation academically in different streams of studies, and they are the ones who are teaching around. In that structure, there is a kind of a cumulative grading system. And also, there are some standard specializations like marketing, HR, finance, operations, international business. So these are the most common specializations you will see that are coming from that are there in conventional MBA. When I did my MBA, I had the same structure, and I'm from one of the primary institute itself. So it was the same thing. AICT recognition was there, AICT approval was there, and at the same time, this was a structure of an MBA. Alt MBA doesn't go like that. The very big difference is that in Alt MBA, the practitioners are professors. So it is not the academician who's a professor. Here, you have the industry people who are teaching. So basically, people who have seen that and done that. So they are the ones who are teaching their students. Second, here specializations are not like marketing, HR, finance. Here, the specializations are like digital marketing, big data and analytics, content marketing, visual communication, IOT and analytics. These are the specializations that are there. Third big difference. MBA works on project guide, and there are the semester or trimester end exams that one has to give. In Alt MBA, the entire evaluation is governed by market reciprocity. What does that mean? That means that all the students will be put onto the assignments at trimester end, where what results are coming from the market based on work they have done, that will decide that if they will be promoted to next trimester. So the entire assessment is market driven, basically performance driven. Because of which, after doing an MBA, the conventional MBA, the graduates, who are passing out from any institute, they are still freshers. While in alternative MBA, they are not freshers anymore. They are already with hands-on experience, something like they may not have done aggressively, but it is like they were into the simulation environment of that how market respond when you are working on different concepts that you are learning. Unlike conventional MBA, where you have the academic structure, little bit of industry orientation is there in terms of summer internship, and couple of times there's an industrial assignment also. Alt MBA is totally divided as 50 and 50. That means 50% sessions and 50% industry interface. That means the entire trimester is dedicated for the industry orientation. And those are not done, in a typical Indian way, where most of the time, when students are put on live assignment or internships, it is almost taken as, what, you can go, with your joy ride of doing something, and at the same time, you can have fun also around. The overall structure of industry interface that iMet gives is totally driven, just like academic structure itself. So there's nothing called as the joyride. It is more to do with that they have to work just like you and I work in our respective organizations. So it's like a typical 9 to 6 working that they are doing for that time period. So these are, a couple of salient, comparisons that, I can share with you. Also, that there are some added, salient areas also, like the entire program of iMet is endorsed by UNESCO in terms of value-driven card that they are giving to us, and certain training orientations that UNESCO will do based on the topics that they normally do as a part of their global dissemination. So that is also a part of iMet's postgraduate program. The program also has a kind of an affiliation with Milan-based university called UET. Milan is in Italy, where the students will go for 2 trimesters to Milan. One trimester, they will attend sessions there. And for the next trimester, they will be doing their internship there. And it's like hardcore, uh, flow driven activities that they have to do to understand business scenarios there. And when they will be doing their internship, they will be paid up to 500 euros as monthly stipend. So I have tried to give you a gist of that how the program looks like, and how this comparison is when someone is looking from like looking at MBA versus looking at alternative MBA. All the dear attendants, if you look into that, how it is positioned, it is not about that any MBA which is there, but it is more about that any sincere student, who is trying to looking at Premier League of India or Ivy League of US. If that is the aspiration that they have, then they should look at iMet Global Alternative MBA as well. Because here, the sincerity is very important because we are officially affiliated with GMAT and NMAT scores for entrance test. And they have their own set guidelines that we have to follow. And their guidelines, especially for GMAT, guidelines for GMAT are coming from how Ivy League has set it up. So that is where even the more sincerity is coming. Now to give you a overall glimpse of that how it looks like, I'm just sharing this small presentation with all of you that will give you a fair idea about that when it is a game changing program that is there, and that was a formal qualification, why the time is right to go for it, and why even media is giving their thumbs up to iMet's structure overall. And not just that, even the beauty is that the placement of this program, the campus placement, will be done by the first year itself. So when we are going with all these good things, we really need to look at that what is making it so much new age and why sincere students should go for such a program. Now here is the very first reason. Not only iMet's program is new age skill driven, but also iMet is only into digital education. Unlike many universities and colleges where they have one of the offerings as an MBA program, and that MBA is also available in all different streams. Here, we are specialists when it comes to digital education. And that is what the students are getting as a formal qualification. So they are not getting it as a vocational training. They are not getting it as a short-term training program. However, they're getting it as a proper postgraduate program. These are certain features that we have to look at, where the gist I have already shared with all of you, that we will look into that what is iMet, then alternative MBA, little bit I have already shared with you. When it is about admission assessment, even that is also done based on corporate structure that we do. The curriculum pedagogy is totally based on Ivy League delivery format. Now, what is this? Objectively, we really need to know about it so that if you are the sincere parents or if you are the counselor, then you would know how to tell to the students that this is what objectively Ivy League structure is all about. Because see, in general, we all talk about it, but we may not understand it so deeply. So I will try my best to give that understanding also around. And when we are saying that the placements will be done in first year, then what is the process to go for it? And also, if the study will be done in two different campuses, what is the intent behind it and how it will look like? So, and yeah, other than that, when let's say there are the logistical things to be taken care of for Delhi campus and for Milan campus, so how it will be like, and what will be the evaluation structure around it, the fees, if we have any financial assistance available, that also we will share. And another important thing is that the good institutes are known for their alumni, and they are also known the kind of alumni network that they nurture. So here, if students will be getting advantage from iMet, especially like when this is the first Indian batch that we are launching. Until now, we have done two international batches, especially during the COVID time, and those we did more, which were like there were few Indians, but there were more the students coming from Europe, from South America, from China, and from Central and Eastern Europe. So Now we are bringing that advantage to Indian students so that if I have to just put a perception around it, the way anyone talks in our country about IAMs or about ISB or about XLRI, the same way it will be envisioned that people will talk about iMet Global also, taking it forward. So we all know that April 2 was not just any other day. Like we won our Cricket World Cup. And why it was not any other day for us also, because it was the same day when we launched iMet Global also at IIT Delhi. And this launch was done with a standing ovation that this is the only institute that has a caliber of bringing industry interface to the academia. And it was not only the iMet, but it was the other corporate dignitaries that were there and the who's who in academic fraternity that raised about it. So that is how on April 2, 2011, iMet Global was launched at IIT Delhi. Very much here we won our cricket World Cup, and here we also got iMet put the foundation around. I already mentioned about that iMet is an acronym for innovation, mentoring, entrepreneurship, and talent building. So whatever we do, including in our postgraduate program, that is the scoping we have done. So everywhere you will see IMET in PGP program, in PGP as well. So the idea is to take what is really happening in the world. So for a while, I'm just skipping this where, like we are talking about that this is a pure intent, something like all Paul Coelho's book characters, or looking at Chanakya, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos types, or looking at, the ones, who always love Star Trek. That is the kind of, the overall, overall aspiration that we look at, who is connected with iMet Global. The students, who always were questioning, or the parents who always had their in their mind that what this is not right, but then there was no solution available. What is right? So that is where you would see that the kind of students that we get and the kind of parents or the kind of counselors connected with us, they understand this psychology. Just like in these two images, you can see, especially this selfie image, that how someone is trying to fit in because everyone is doing it, but not that this person is a part of that group. So the idea is to look at that. This is what this person is what we were looking for, or someone like would able to question that what kind of an ROI I will get from my education, and that is where we are looking at this person. Like what it is. I know that this is not right, but then I do not know what the right is available to. We all know, I can tell even better because I covered the length and breadth of our country when we were actually building iMet in past almost 10, 11 years. We were able to look at that how higher education is happening around. So the idea is to just showcase that whether it is about the education is happening and then the unemployment, where frankly speaking, it's not the problem of unemployment. The real problem is of employability. And so are the courses that were good are available at such a heavy fees that it is not only giving a great career, but even giving a greater liability of loans on top of it. Taking it forward, how creativity has been, put to a question mark or to be killed, and then how the perception is now becoming that there is a kind of a course, launch it and talk about it like a price, not talking about what value that course will add around. So I'm quickly, moving to these few areas that when we look at since the inception of iMet Global till 19, from 2011 to 2019, we covered around 65,000, 65 different institutes and colleges. We trained much more than this number also, but we are just putting this official number. And somewhere we developed the curriculum also for many institutions in digital, social media, IoT, and data areas, data analytics as well. And the idea is that how we can make education as smart education, just like everything around us. While doing it, we got our partners, we got our placement partners as well. So here are few of the names, that you can see around. And when we are doing it, we are actually connected with many of the global names as well. I want to double check here. Siddhi, could you please confirm me if I'm audible to everyone?
Yes, Deepak, you're audible.
And I'm clearly audible to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Great.
Deepak, there is this one question in the chat box that Richa
Please.
asked. So I am taking it in the middle. So is the course called PGP and not MBA? Could you take this
It
one?
is. Yes, you know what? That's what I have just clarified. Something like, let me take an instance. When you go to IIMs, you get PGP there. But then that is an MBA itself. The only thing is MBA is a standard term that we use. However, standard term that we use for all 2 years management education. The only thing is MBA can be given only by university. So all non-university institutions, they give PGDM, PGPM, and PGP. So if you look at it, in general, we call it MBA. Here, we have our affiliation with Italian University, and also, as per NEP guidelines, we can actually go with an alternative name of an MBA, and here we have as Alt MBA out here. But yeah, when we have to go with industry recognition, they will not immediately understand what is Alt MBA, and that is why we are again following the international nomenclature. So we give postgraduate program, PGP in digital social media and IoT. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, Deepak, yes. Thank you.
So the journey of iMet from 11 to 19 was more about to explore this area of higher education, to look at that what is needed to be fortified. 2020 onwards, not only we were hit by Corona, that really redefined so many things, but also it's somewhere gave us the status that we were looking for, and that is not for profit Section 8 status. So that is one good development that happened because of the kind of work we did and the separate entity we wanted to make from our digital agency business. The second thing was that we did a soft launch of alternative MBA at that time, and with pure focus on digital education, no other education. That is when we also became NEP compliant. So if you look at the NEP guidelines of skill driven, having proprietary frameworks, having industry-based assessment, and having the structure of education, all that is where iMet is the only program which is compliant to NEP. I'm not talking about school segment. I'm talking about higher education segment right now. When we were doing all this. This is how the media also start recognizing it. So there were so many ad techs, that just mushroomed up at that time, and also the even most of the media publications, they were also looking at that what is actually coming new age, where the employability is getting enhanced. And that is the time when Business World Education came up with their ranking, and they put iMet as mention number one. Same is with India Today also, that they again put mention number one as iMet Global when it comes to new age, professional and formal qualification. So this is something like initially I mentioned about that, what Forbes came up with. So not we guys, Forbes came up with, these lines that old institutions and conventional elite MBA programs to go way of blockbuster get busted anytime now. It's already happening as well. Change is coming, students expect more and they deserve more. Alternative MBA programs is the answer. It will be the equivalent of Netflix. And the beauty is we are all set for that with iMet Global. So this is the complete piece. We can share it later on, and you can read it. We intentionally put it so that one can refer it, and even we can share the link of this article as well. This is something Times of India took from us and was published by them. that when we are talking about alternative MBA, what is this all about and how it will be giving the overall growth structure. And the good thing, what was appreciated, that it is like a proper formal program in place. It is not in terms of some tech based offering around a few months. And it is continued. For everyone's reference, I really have to, put certain, certain facts here in place. I'm not sure that how many of you are clear with it that now UGC and AICT are not existing. And that is somewhere, that you can refer also that as per new education policy, the idea is that both these organizations, both these associations will be merged and there will be a single regulator in place very soon. Because of that, all the MBA, PGDM or PGPM that most of the AICT approved or UGC recognized colleges they're giving are nothing but a piece of paper. So that is actually not, it's actually somewhere redundant now. So many parents are not aware of it. And this information has been kept in a very hush-hush manner. Now, why it has been kept, I may not have the answer to it. But yeah, it is very clear that government has decided that this is not the education structure that can be taken forward. So winds of change have already come and it is already happening. So not even the specializations, not the curriculum structure, not even the evaluation structure is as per industry expectations. And so are AICT and UGC framework as well. So this is the reason that why we wanted to be more NEP compliant. We were not interested to have another MBA, but we were more interested to have an alternative MBA in place, which should give the right inputs to the students what industries are looking for. So when we are looking at it that what is the MBA should look like, so here it is. So not no more PhDs, but more the practitioners that are needed. So you need to have vice president marketing to teach you marketing. You need to have an HR professional to tell about how recruitment process is done. And especially when things are getting digital enabled, all the more reasons that you really need to have those practitioners to come and do experiential sharing. Because for most of the new age areas, there are no books available. Taking it to a next level, whatever we do, it should be market driven. And that's the biggest concern of corporate. So that is where now the evaluation will be not based on what faculties are saying or what project guide is saying. Project guide is a facilitator. Now the market results will tell, just like any movie release, the box office will tell the performance. Or if any cricketer is going into the Team India, it's the performance, the score, that would come. It's the same way. Now, even an MBA should have a kind of a proper performance matrix in place. Taking it to a level of that MBA is now more driven by industry interface. So it is not just about the classroom sessions, but it has to have the areas which normally were able to, one could able to handle before, but post-COVID, it is all about how much of learning can be done not only by observation, but it has to be the learning by doing as well. And of course, there should be new age specialization. Now, if you ask us, we also have our other business units. We are also looking for professionals to join us. And frankly speaking, the kind of business we are in digital social media and in digital transformation, we are not able to get any formal qualification. We have two kind of candidates available. One who are coming with their conventional MBA or BTECs, or the others, who are coming with short-term courses that they are doing either from some free online courses available institutes, or the ones who are offering them as short-term certification. Now that the both won't suffice the purpose. So looking at it, that how it will look like. Number one, we have to have a character when we are talking about management education, business studies. It has to have a character of corporate, and that's exactly what is there in iMet. It is 100% with corporate character. So in short, we call it off for by the corporates. So even the teachers are coming, the professors are coming from corporate. Same way, all the industry interface is happening, in that fashion. Even the classrooms are structured with that understanding. So everything is more driven by, now I have to just if I just read it, so it is like practitioners as professors, office style B school campus, not academic style B school campus. And classrooms are more structured like workstations. And the overall curriculum is 50-50. The 50 theory, which is still not theory so much, and the 50 is all practitioners' perspective of looking at things. Even the admission process has the L&D professionals, learning and development professionals from the corporate. And even the structure of assessment is also the typical structure that is normally used in corporates for appraisals. Same is that not only this, even the students will be made part of different global communities and associations, so that they should be in a habit of more interacting with senior leadership, strategic people, and the corporate leaders. So it's not just that. One of the biggest thing that we have seen that in most of the B schools, students live with this insecurity of placements. Now here we have ensured that they should not live with that insecurity anymore, and that is the reason by the first year itself they will get their offer letter, so that with peace of mind they should now focus on studies. For a while, I'm just moving to this one. So not only this, with the announcement of our global PGP, for which we are on with our admissions, and by the June month, we are starting with our summer batch, the entire structure has been put on car model. So I will not say like, it has been developed by XYZ number of academicians, but this has exactly been developed by how in organizations we talk about. So we always look at credibility. So that is what in iMet also we have integrated. Then we look at affordability, because that is very important. So right from the fees and what return on investment, ROI, that students should get is something which will be driving it overall. And being Section 8 not-for-profit organization and getting the endorsement from UNESCO, somewhere we have our social responsibility also to implement CAR model in higher education. Here are some more details on the right side. You can see that how the structure will be. But yeah, more than that, I will just share with all of you in the subsequent slides. The practitioners that we have, we have put a term to it called as Guru Pool. So the idea is that all the practitioners who are coming from different fraternities, they are a part of Guru Pool who have done the similar assignments, what they will be teaching to our students as well. We have also done our strategic alliance with the world's biggest and the largest mentor network called Intercell. Here, there are more than 4,000 corporate mentors, who are available, and now they are in strategic alliance with iMet Global also for our students. And when this alliance was done, which was in the capacity, if we look at, this is the first strategic alliance Intercell has done with any institution. So this itself was covered by international media. So right from the emerging economies to even India, this actually got a good coverage. For any assistance, for let's say fees is something to be looked into, we have our corporate alliance partner here as well called Early Help. So the idea is to keep students away from that clutches of bank loan, and also it should not be a tedious process that MBA, alternative MBA, look to them as a tedious task overall. So it is more to do with that even we have a corporate alliance there as well to help to make it more affordable and to make it even easier. To give global exposures, that is where we have our alliance with UET Italia. That is how in Italian, we call it, but in India we call it UET Italy. This is for Milan campus and for the Palermo campus out there. And this is more to give global exposure, especially when Milan is also one of the commercial hubs of the world. So that is the idea that students should get global exposure. So not only they should get new age qualification, they also should get an opportunity to look into that how the world looks like, but not in a conventional way again, but more in a way that where they could see more of economic relevance, and that should again enhance their employability. This is the the UNESCO endorsement I mentioned about, that even the ID card that we give from iMet, that itself has the values coming from UNESCO, and this card is such that even students get extra benefit in more than 100 countries. And this is more with our alliance with this international student body, which is approximately 4 decades old, called ISEC. Now, if you look at many of the Ivy League colleges and many of the primary institutes, they are the part of ISEC globally. When the alliance was done, this is somewhere like, it was again recognized by media that now the winds of change are really coming, in education sector, and time is right to go for alt MBA. The structure looks like somewhat like this. So as I said, it is 50% session, 50% skill based. The entire structure is divided not in semester system, it is in trimester system, where it is a mix of both. There are online sessions, there are live sessions, because these online sessions that are done, those are not recorded ones. These are the ones where still the practitioner professor is there out there. We have kept online sessions only for one reason, and that was COVID. So it was initially, and we might have to keep it this year also on the same format of hybrid, where we could be starting in June month uh, with online structure, and slowly then we will bring class into it. But I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that COVID should not attack the way you can see that again the numbers are increasing. If that will not happen, we would love to immediately start only with in-class sessions, no online sessions at all. In addition to that, this is a typical residential structure of PGP. The students will be living here in Delhi, and their accommodation will be arranged by us only. Where the idea is that not only the classroom sessions that they will be a part of, but they really need to work on the weekends also on industry interface activities. Every evening, there will be case analysis. They will be working on digital community building, which is again very important and a part of a curriculum. And also, it is a part of any Ivy League delivery structure. Plus, there is any additional module in this PGP, and that is on spirituality. Something you would see only primary institutes and Ivy League colleges talk about. So it is spirituality to productivity is the module which is distributed in 3 trimesters. So that is where they would be going with the practices of meditation, practices of how productivity can be enhanced by deconditioning mind, and at the same time by going with using power of subconscious mind. So all this will be done based on our proprietary frameworks, and that makes it more Ivy League delivery structure again, because here we are not referring what the erstwhile conventional books were there. Here we are more going with the proprietary frameworks that we have developed, and we have even given to a couple of other institutes. So simple instance, if we really have, let's say students are learning about digital social media campaign, how it is to be done. So they would be first learning profit methodology to make it happen. Or they will be they will be learning C-suite framework to make it happen. And these are the additional certificates that students will get. That PGP in digital social media with specialization in content marketing or with specialization in big data and analytics. Along with that, special, qualified on framework of CASA, or framework of profit, or framework of CC. In addition to that, we have added a couple of SAP modules also, which are more driven by digital enterprise solutions. So say there are students, with engineering background, and now they want to go with their specialization, not only in big data and analytics, but they really want to understand certain SAP modules as well at functional level, not only at operational level. That is where we have kept this also as additional certification. So when we have to look at that, what and how the placement will happen in the first year, this is the qualifying criteria for that. That they really need to go with 2 live assignments and 2 internships. They will be going with a proper, a proper specialization based assignment which they have to complete. And while doing it, they will get pre-placement offer. Here, we have written it like placement offer in the first internship itself. In terms of packages, this is something we have put here in terms of numbers, but chances are very high it will increase by this year itself, because not only that there is a formal qualification available from our side, but also the industry is growing and it is a hot sector right now in terms of skill areas. So if we look at a fresher, it will be around 6.5 to 7.5 lakhs. While when we look at the work ex people, they will not go with fresher-based recruitments. However, they will go with lateral placements. And lateral placements will be done based on what package they were getting before joining the program. So based on that, they will get minimum 30% increase on that package. And this, as I said, what I'm telling and what I'm sharing with all of you today, chances are very high, as I said, looking at that, how the demand is increasing. In fact, I was talking to a couple of recruiters. They told me that the kind of specialization that iMet is offering, in these specializations, what they already have professionals working these days, they are going with 100% increase. And if it is not happening 100%, somewhere that great resignation, is hitting their organization as well. So this is how the placement will look like. Now we have to look at that, how the admission assessment is done. This is done based on this corporate structure of appraisal called as INNOVAT, where INNO is for innovation, W is for wins, E is for execute, and T is for team management, and in fact team related area. So the selection process is divided like that. So the initial screening we are doing officially is based on NMAT and GMAT score. What the score is, we always announce it before the batch. So this year's score also, we have already listed. That's what I don't have right now with me. But yes, Siddhi, you can have that score from Ashish. So he will be able to share that what is the minimum score we are accepting for this year. However,
sure, Deepak. Meanwhile, I'd request Ashish if you could put the same in the chat box so that I can share it with my team.
At the same time, because some students still go for CAT, ZAT, and SNAP as other, these are the other entrances available. So what we do, either officially we take NMAT and GMAT, but if some equivalent test exam that students have given, we consider them as well. So it would be like equivalent score that we will consider. But yeah, that we do not do officially. So if you will try to find iMet's name for CAT listing or for ZAT listing or for SNAP listing, you will not find our name. But if you go to NMAT or you go for GMAT, you will see our name registered there officially. So once we have done that first level of shortlisting, then the assessment starts, and the assessment is done in 3 rounds. So the first round is taken by the Chief Learning Officer. Now this Chief Learning Officer is from specific industry or from iMet as well. Second, they will be subject matter expert, more coming from the industry again. And third will be the pure matrix based assessment expert who is the learning and development lead from XYZ organization. Now here, this is governed for this year, for June batch, we have ex-CHRO of Narrowlag Paints, who has an exhaustive understanding of digital transformation, assessments, how those are being done. He is overall steering the committee of this assessment. While doing it, what we try to know is that how students are structured. Their profile is structured as CASA. So their knowledge-centric understanding to look into their IQ. Then we look at their attitudes-centric areas, which are more to do with their mindset. Then we look into skill-based areas to check their competency question. And then we get into the aesthetics of how well, good they are able to present something. So for our overall assessment is not so much marks driven or not so much academics driven. It is more driven by their personalities. So that is what we always look at. So might be like, we could ask them to write an essay, or, we could put them in a simulation environment, and then we could ask them to present that case. So that ways, it is not about that if some student may not be very good with academics, they can still apply to us. The only thing is we will be assessing them on CASA framework. Some of the important information. So this, I have shared a bit of it. That batch is starting from June. So that is where the heads up is. April and May. In fact, half of April is there, and then the full May month is there. So 1.5 months, we will complete our process for this for summer batch. If COVID there, then 2 trimesters will be conducted online. And for 2 trimesters, student will come to New Delhi campus, while for the other 2, they will go to Milan campus. What if, situation remains normal? Then students will be in New Delhi campus for 4 trimesters. All the students will undergo the insurance cover that we do. So they will be covered for their health insurance, for their life insurance as well. When they will be in New Delhi campus, we will be giving the assistance to them for accommodation, for food and lodging. And everything will be there in South Delhi. Our campus is also in Uday Park, which is the heart of South Delhi. And we are very much on August Kranti Marg, very near to City Fort Auditorium. Same in Milan campus, the boarding and lodging, iMet Global will take care of, while the travel and visa cost and the processing. For processing, iMet will be assisting all the students, while the cost will be on students. All the books and reference material will be provided by iMet Global. So, couple of dates, something like we have to share the updated list now, because this is something I think my team missed to put. This is for the last batch that we did, the second batch we did for international students. While what the fee structure will be, please look at that. Right now, we have put a special pre-COVID, we have put a COVID fees. And this COVID fees is 10 lakhs and 50,000 rupees is refundable security. Though we wish that things should become normal, but yeah, as soon as things will become normal, we will come with our post-COVID fees then, and that will be 18 lakhs and 1 lakh will be refundable security. The entire fees is to be paid in 4 installments. So the structure, the table, and the reference ID we give them once they have been granted the admission. While the rest of the expenses of visa and travel for Milan will be on actuals. For New Delhi accommodation, boarding and lodging, there are different slabs. These are again on actuals. So there are like on sharing basis, then there are like the separate rooms, then there are like the fully furnished rooms. So there again the chart is available. Students can select what kind of accommodation they want, and then accordingly that will be put to our administration. Little bit of campus overview we have put here. So as I said, the entire campus is office style. so that students should get the simulation here itself that how their future organizations will look like. Or if they aspire to put their startups or they want to become entrepreneurs, then also they would know that how incubation centers will look like. So, this is how the structure is, this is how, the campus look like. And there are more pictures that, we can share with you all that will, give you a more, understanding about it. However, not that so much, we want to boast about our infrastructure, which is a physical infrastructure. We are very keen that iMet Global and PGP should be evaluated on its intellectual infrastructure. So thank you so much. This is all there from my side. And if there are any questions, please feel free to ask me. I hope, Siddhi, I'm able to complete it within the time frame.
Yes, Deepak, no problem over there.
Thank you so much.
So if any of you has a question, please, this would be the right time to ask it.
And if there are counselors, please feel free to put all the questions, because see, the more you will ask me, the more like it will give a clarity, because this is something game changing. Not because we are offering, but wait and watch. This is the way forward for everyone. As I said, OTT is the way forward. No one will launch any more DTH. So it's exactly like that. So you will see that how this will have more upside, especially for sincere students, who always aspire to go for Ivy League of a primary institutes, but maybe for some or the other constraint they could not go for it. The profile of students that we normally look for, there are three categories. One category is more where students who are graduates. So as we know, BA, BCom, hotel management graduates, or about the ones who are doing the PTech. They are the ones who are eligible. Basically, the ones who are evaluating different options and they're looking for the right option for their career. Then there's another category of students, who are like dropouts. They are the dropouts from. Sorry, Siddhi, you're saying something?
So you were saying that you generally look for students who are graduates. So one of the questions is,
yes.
Is there any program available for the people who are not graduate?
Okay, right? I will come to that question also. I'll quickly finish, what student profile we are looking for. So that is one I just mentioned. The second profile of students are those who were doing their CA, chartered accountancy, or company secretary, or they were doing their courses from ICWA, but somehow they felt that they don't want to continue as they have dropped. So they are also sincere bunch of students, and they are looking for some other career options available to them to go with career continuity. So that is the second bunch of sincere learners we look for. Then the third segment are of those students who are doing their LLB, or those who are preparing for government exams or civil service exams. So they are the ones who are again looking for some new age enriched career option, but unfortunately that was that was not there before, but now it is available to them as well. So these are the three targets of students that we normally look for. But yeah, one common thing is they have to be sincere, because we are somewhere going with placement in the first year. Second, the professors are coming from industry, so they cannot goof up anywhere. Third, even the assessment of their trimester is driven by market. So there's no theory, that can help them to get graduated to the next trimester. So that is the reason one hygiene factor is students should be sincere. So we can compromise on their marks, but we cannot compromise on their zeal to learn and to be more equipped with that why they want to go for higher professional education. So not like, because everyone does MBS, I will also do. That is not the bunch we're looking for. And that is the reason why we are going with even the test scores, which are like GMAT, NMAT, CAT, SNAP, ZAC types. We're not going for any any type of other MBA entrance tests that are available. So what about students who are not graduate? I just want to have one clarification here. If this students are not graduate, are you talking about school students, or you're talking about students who are pursuing their graduation, or students who are graduates but they are working in some organization.
So Deepak, I think this means there is a student who's just past school, or maybe who's in the middle of college. So not a
Okay.
graduate, anyone, but not a graduate.
Undergraduates or school students, right? So for undergraduates and school students, we have this program called certificate program. So you know what, if you go on our website, you will see that, like what programs are available for school students and for undergraduate students. Because no doubts about it that for undergraduate students, that will be an edge. So that is a certificate program. Now, is the program suited for people with work experience or freshers? Absolutely right. That is what we are looking for. So, as I said, we are going with Ivy League delivery structure, not Ivy League curriculum. So, we prefer students who have some work experience, or the students, who are freshers. Just like, when you look at in our country, that how a typical MBA admissions are done. So, the class is mix of all. The class has students who are coming with their graduation in academic areas. Then there are students, who are engineers. That means they have done their first level of techno-functional qualification. And then there are students, who are with work experience. They could be graduates, they could be engineers. Like in couple of our previous batches, we had, we had students like, who are BTechs, and then they were working for TCS and Wipro. And then, we had simple, we had like graduates, BCom, BA, and they were working for organizations like India Bulls, Airtel. So it was like a healthy mix. And then we had students like, who just, like did their BCom from Shriram College of Commerce, from Shahid Bhagat Singh, if I talk about Delhi colleges. So it is like a healthy mix. And yes, then there were students, who did hotel management as well. So it is like mix of all. So that is, this program is exactly for them, because see, we are also a B school. We are also a business school. So we have different programs. This is our formal qualification program. While when I'm talking about certificate program, and in fact, we have even executive certificate program also, which is only for working professionals. And for that, one should have minimum 1 year of experience and full-time experience, and no call center experience is considered in that. So that is what we again have. So WorkX students can go for executive certificate program. However, as I said, that is a program which is more on vocational structure, but not a vocational course. While PGP is a formal qualification structure. So I hope I have answered the question.
I think you have, Deepak. Thank you so much. Is there any other question that we can take up? So I think since there are no more questions, we've explained the topic very well. And thank you so much, Deepak, for giving your time. Also, I would just like to make a point that we are not partnering up with iMet Global. This is an introduction webinar that we posted without charging any participant for anything. So, yeah, yes, Deepak.
I am happy, Siddhi, you said that. One, disclaimer I will also put here, because what Siddhi said is absolutely right. It is not a commercial engagement that we guys have done any sort. Second thing, whatever media updates that you saw in my presentation, where we have put as mention number 1, or if Times of India, publish ourselves, publish us on the cover page, all those are non-paid publications. We did not pay anything to anyone. So we actually got them purely based on our credibility, not that we were sitting with deep pockets and we paid money to get published. And as a structure character of Section 8 not-for-profit organization, we are very sincere towards it. Over to you, Siddhi.
So that was a wonderful session, Deepak. Thank you so much for your time, and all the best going forward. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you, Deepak, for informative session. Thank you so much for your message as well.
Thank you.
Because I'm able to see DP, I'm not able to see anything else there.
So
okay then, thank you so much and have a good evening to everyone. Bye-bye.